My name is Aaron Vaughn Love. I am the current music editor for Woodward Magazine. I've been with them for a while, and this is actually a tremendous honor for me because my favorite artist of all time is Alice Cooper. I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan, but I imagine a lot of you are as well. Looking out into the audience, I'm sure everyone there has their own story about how they first discovered Alice Cooper or how Alice Cooper was introduced to them. My introduction was this album, Constrictor. It was the summer of 1987, a friend introduced it to me, and I just fell in love with it immediately. There's something about Constrictor. It had this mix of 80s horror and sex, and as a young prepubescent boy, there was a natural appeal there for me. And it was kind of like the soundtrack to the ultimate 80s splatter film. It became the soundtrack of my summer. More importantly, it kind of led me to discover more of the classic Alice Cooper albums, School's Out, Welcome to My Nightmare, Billion Dollar Babies. Funny thing is that at the time I didn't realize that these albums were, how shocking they were when they were originally released, and how much of a threat Alice Cooper was to the long majority. To me, I just thought they were really cool songs about horror, about necrophilia, about nightmares, about giant spiders. It appealed to me on that level. The reality is that there are horror artists and shock rock artists that came before Alice Cooper, and there are many shock rock artists that came after Alice Cooper, and some of those were more visceral, more shocking, more in your face. But I don't think any of them had the intellectual approach to horror that Alice Cooper did, and I don't think any of them produced albums that were as great as the ones that Alice Cooper did. So, enough about that. The godfather of shock rock, the oldest living vampire, the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Alice Cooper! So Alice, I know everybody here. Well, Toronto's a bit, you're pretty familiar with Toronto. I imagine you do know a number of people here for quite a few albums. But I heard that you recently played a folk festival in England, actually. Yeah. It went over really well. I heard what's it like for Alice Cooper, the shock rocker, to be playing a folk festival?
Well, we filled in for Mumford and Sons.
Oh, cool.
Now, there was this thing that was blown way out of proportion. Somebody asked me the state of rock and roll, and I said, well, it's splintered, it's all over the place, And I mentioned that the Lumineers and Mumford and Son were not rock and roll. I didn't mean it as an insult, I thought everybody knew that, The same way that you would say Beyonce is not rock and roll, or this guy, rock and roll is Guns N' Roses, and that's rock and roll. But they took it, I guess, as an insult.
Oh no.
And so they fired back one across my bow, something about I'm not in touch with them. Okay. And then I said, okay, just for that, I'm going to play a folk festival. Just to play that. And it was great. The audience was great. They were not a folk festival at the end of the festival.